Good morning and welcome to our thought for the week. Life is still not back to normal, and there is much to captivate our minds at the minute. COVID, Brexit again, the US presidential election, maybe we shouldn't go there. But in all of our asking who's got the right answers, who should our focus be upon? The Apostle John found himself in a very similar situation, perplexed, in real difficulty. And you read at the beginning of the book of Revelation, Revelation 1, verse 1, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his servants. When John didn't know where to look, when John didn't know what to do, God showed him Christ. Now the book of Revelation scares many people. But revelation simply means an unveiling, an uncovering, to manifest. Simply what happens in the book of Revelation is God the Holy Spirit pulls back the curtain and shows John and us the glorified Christ. Now, when John saw Jesus, he had seen him in a way that he had never seen him before. He had seen him in the Mount of Transfiguration. He had been with him at table, but this was something utterly and totally different. And the next couple of times I do thought for the week, I want to turn our attention to Revelation 1 and what John saw and kind of build on it week by week. And it says in verse 12 of Revelation 1, if you've got a Bible, then look it up, find an app, or if you don't have a Bible, then contact us and we'll happily give you one. John says, I turned around to see the voice that was speaking to me. The verb is here, he was talking. In other words, it wasn't the voice that captivated him. It was the person that captivated him. It wasn't what was being said, it was who was saying it. Here John was utterly and totally captivated with Christ. And as he saw Jesus, in the midst of all the turmoil, in the midst of all the upheaval, he saw Jesus exalted. He saw him standing amongst the lampstands, it says. Now elsewhere in Revelation, we're told that the lampstands are a picture of the churches. And I love that because Jesus wasn't distant from the church. Although he was in heaven, he was walking amongst the lampstands. He was present with the church in its very need and in its very situation. And he came as light to the church. The world was in darkness, but as John recorded in his gospel, Jesus came to shine light into the darkness. And he just didn't do it then, he does it now. He still walks amongst the lampstands. And the one he saw was like the Son of Man. Just like Daniel had a vision of Jesus all those years before. And in Daniel chapter 7 and verse 13 and 14, verse 14 says, he was like the Ancient of Days. He was given authority, honor, and sovereignty over all the nations of the world. When Daniel saw Jesus, just like when John saw Jesus, he saw him as exalted, one in charge. One with majesty, one with power, one with authority. The Romans ran around shouting, we're in charge. Jesus lovingly says from heaven, John, no they're not. I am. And that's still the case today. He just didn't see him walking amongst the lampstands. He saw him dressed in robes. John had watched the crowd strip Jesus naked and hang him on a tree. Even gamble for his clothes. But now from shoulder to feet, he's clothed in majesty. He's clothed as in his priestly garments, one who was in heaven making intercession for us. John saw Christ exalted. John saw Christ serene. A golden sash or girdle around his chest. That simply means he was the one who stands with all judicial power. He's the right judge of all the earth. You go to London and you go to the High Court, justice stands at the top of the High Court. In one hand a scales, in the other hand a drawn sword, and justice is blind, impartial, impervious, all but the truth, impassive. Christ stands as our judge, but he's not distant. Yes, he will hold to nothing but the truth, but remember, the one who judges us knows what it's like to be us, in all points tempted just like you and I were. And the one who will judge us was the one who wept over an individual, wept over a nation, wept over the human race. And that's how John saw him. Exalted, serene, and flawless. His hair were like wool, as white as snow. His eyes were like the blazing fire. Here's the one who was pure. And the one who is pure is the one who can make you and me pure. That's why the old hymn writer nailed it when he says, listen, turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, so that the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and his grace. When we don't know where to turn, may we get a revelation, a new vision of Jesus, as God the Holy Spirit draws back the curtain and helps you and me to see Jesus as he really is. May the Lord bless you.